Right now, Toyota showrooms have almost zero room to bargain. 10 of the 25 quickest selling vehicles in the country are Toyotas. A Corolla moves off the lot in roughly 2 weeks. A Camry, about the same time frame. So if you walk in hoping to haggle, you'll typically get a friendly nod, and not much else. But 3 Toyota sedans are sitting there, largely ignored. One has shed nearly half its sales volume in just 12 months. Another gets beaten in sales by its own lower-priced sibling. And the third one, most folks over 55 have never heard of, despite it being nearly tailor-made for them. Here's the twist. The reasons everyday shoppers ignore these 3 have almost nothing to do with build quality. 2 of them, in fact, suit an older driver better than the Camry everyone's scrambling to buy. I'll walk through all 3 pricing, strengths, and who should pass on each, because one of the first, these genuinely has a flaw that rules it out for a lot of you watching. Number 1 is the one that caught me off guard the most. Before we dive in, quick question. If a brand new Toyota has been parked on a dealer's lot for months, do you assume something's wrong with it? Tap like if you want the real answer, because that's exactly what we're digging into today. A quick note on my ranking method. I'm not sorting these by lowest price or best looking photos. I'm ranking by how well each one fits, the way most of us actually drive once we're past 55 short. Errands, grocery trips, doctor's appointments, occasional road trips to visit family, and one thing stays at the top of my checklist throughout. Can you climb in and out without discomfort? Because a car that's painful to get into is a car you eventually stop using. Number 3, the Toyota Corolla Hybrid. The standard gas Corolla is selling like crazy. The hybrid variant isn't. Toyota moved roughly 12,000 units in the first quarter of 2026, down over 16% compared to the same stretch a year earlier. Why? Mostly mix-ups. Shoppers search for a compact Toyota hybrid, spot the Corolla Cross crossover, parked right beside it, and drive that home instead. Similar price range, taller stance, more SUV-like. Look, the sedan gets passed over, but consider what's being overlooked. It starts near $25,000, making it Toyota's most affordable hybrid. Expect around 50 miles per gallon. And here's what that actually means for someone on a fixed income. Driving 8,000 miles a year, you're looking at roughly $40 a month in fuel. That's a phone bill, not a car note. Upkeep costs stay low. 2. No timing belt to worry about. Brakes last considerably longer than expected, since the hybrid system handles much of the deceleration itself. Brake replacements in the first 100,000 miles are uncommon on this hybrid. For 2026, Toyota made blind spot monitoring standard across every trim level, every single one. That's the indicator light in your side mirror flagging someone in your blind spot if your neck and shoulders don't rotate like they used to. That feature alone removes a lot of anxiety from changing lanes. Now, the honest downside, the 2026 Corolla didn't earn the top safety award from the insurance industry's testing organization. It performed well in nearly every category, but came back marginal on one crash test, the one measuring rear seat protection. If grandkids frequently ride in your back seat, that's worth knowing before you sign anything. It's also a compact car, small doors, low seating position. If your hips or knees give you grief, this one will be a struggle. Skip it if you have significant mobility limitations or regularly carry passengers in back. Buy it if you mostly drive solo, want the cheapest running costs on this list, and plan to keep it for a dozen years. Quick question, if you're currently driving a Corolla Hybrid, what mileage are you actually seeing? Not the window sticker number, the one your dashboard shows. I read every comment. Number 2, the Toyota Prius. This one has completely collapsed in sales. Through the first 5 months of 2026, Toyota sold about 15,000 units. Same period last year, 30,000. Sales have essentially been cut in half. The standard hybrid Prius is now being outsold by the Corolla Hybrid, a car priced $3,500 lower. So what changed? Toyota gave it a redesign a few years back and leaned into a sportier look low. Nose, sloped roofline, sharp creases. It picked up plenty of design awards, but quietly alienated a large portion of its traditional buyers. Yet, the car itself is genuinely impressive. 57 miles per gallon, the best figure on this entire list by a wide margin. It retains about 64% of its value after 5 years, ranking among the top 60 vehicles sold in first time. America for value retention. Annual maintenance stays under $300, and it landed a top safety rating for 2026.
So we've got a vehicle with class-leading fuel economy, excellent excellent resale value, cheap upkeep, and top-tier safety scores, and yet demand collapsed largely because of styling. That should be the simplest recommendation I've ever made. It isn't. And I'd be shortchanging you if I skipped over why. That low-swept roofline came with a trade-off. Professional reviewers, people who test dozens of cars monthly, say the roof shrinks the door, opening enough that bumping your head getting in is genuinely easy. One reviewer bluntly stated the back seat isn't workable for anyone taller than 5'10". I want that to land clearly because it outweighs the fuel economy numbers. If you deal with arthritis in your knees or hips, if you've had a hip replacement, if you already use the door frame for support, getting out of your current vehicle, this isn't your car. The $40 monthly gas savings won't make up for how it feels climbing out of it in a cold parking lot in February. Here's the bottom line. The Prius is an excellent choice for a mobile, healthy 60-year-old who mostly drives alone. It's the wrong choice for anyone already struggling to exit their current vehicle. Sit in one before falling for the spec sheet. Get in, get out, do it 3 times. Number 1, the Toyota Crown. I'd bet most of you have never laid eyes on one. That's exactly the issue. Toyota sells around 10 Camrys for every single Crown. Over a recent 45-day period, dealers nationwide moved roughly 700 units, total 700, across the entire country. Nobody's requesting it, mainly because almost nobody knows what it actually is. Here's the story. When Toyota retired the Avalon, the large, quiet, comfortable sedan many of you or your parents drove for years, the Crown stepped in as its replacement. Same purpose, different design. Toyota just never made that connection clear to buyers. Now here's the detail that matters most for this audience. The Crown sits about 4 inches higher than a Camry. Consumer Reports states that directly passengers sit higher off the ground than in most vehicles, which makes entry and exit noticeably easier. The hip point lands around 25 inches up. In simple terms, you slide sideways into the seat rather than dropping down and then hauling yourself back out. If you'd assumed an SUV was your only option for easier entry and exit, this sedan solves that same problem. It's a hybrid, delivering around 41 miles per gallon in a large, quiet, comfortable package. All-wheel drive comes standard across every trim. Real reassurance if you're driving through snow or wet roads. Heated and ventilated front seats are also standard, even on the base trim. Annual maintenance runs about $330. Pricing starts near $41,000, and dealers have been discounting roughly $2,600 below sticker on average. So there's some negotiating room. Now, the honest drawbacks, and there are 3 real ones. Resale value is the weakest on this list by a wide margin. It holds on to roughly 49% of its value after 5 years, placing 260th out of 400 vehicles tracked. If you trade in every 3 years, that will cost you real money. If you hang on to a car for 10 to 12 years, which most of you tell me you do, that figure matters far less. Insurance runs on the higher side, around $2,500 annually, and headroom is limited. Owners taller than about 5'10" report needing to lower the seat or recline it further than they'd prefer. Generous hip point, but a tighter ceiling. Who's it for? Someone around 5'9" or shorter, dealing with knee or hip discomfort. Who wants that? Avalon-style ride and intends to keep the car long-term. For that buyer, I don't think there's a stronger sedan option on the market right now. Skip it if you're tall or trade vehicles frequently. The takeaway: an overlooked car isn't necessarily a flawed one. Sometimes the styling turned people off, the marketing fell flat, or everyone's attention got pulled toward a nearby SUV. None of that changes whether the car will start reliably on a freezing morning 11 years down the road. Toyota was named the most reliable brand in America, again for 2026. That ranking doesn't shift just because a particular model isn't popular. So before buying anything, do this. Get in, get out. 3 times, wearing whatever you'd normally wear, code included. That 30 seconds will teach you more than any review, mine included. If this changed how you're thinking about it, hit subscribe. I post honest breakdowns like this every week. No dealership spin, no hype, and I personally read every comment. And if someone you know is shopping right now, a spouse, a neighbor, a friend from church who keeps mentioning they need a new car, pass this along. It could save them a few $1,000s and a lot of sore joints. Let me know in the comments which of these 3 you'd actually buy. Curious if I nailed number 1. Drive safe out there. See you in the next one.